welcome to 7video Behind the Scenes. I'm Freya Rickman and I'm your host for this first season of the podcast. And today I am here with my colleague Cal.
Hello. How are you?
I'm all good, thank you. How you doing?
Wonderful. Never better on a Friday.
Brilliant stuff. Well, how long have you been at 7video now? Let's get straight into it.
That's a good question. I have been here for 5 years, coming up in May. So yeah, started off initially as an apprentice for a year and then got taken on full time. So yeah, 5 years.
5 years.
Half a century. It's a long time.
Half a decade.
Yeah, half a decade. Yeah, there we go. It's a good start.
Easy done. So, got me there. So you started off as an apprentice, but what started your initial interest in animation?
I don't actually 100% know. It's one of those things that kind of just happened naturally. I was sort of on the job hunt, as you do as a young sort of, I think I was 20 when I started here. And animation always sort of interested me. I always, when I was a kid, loved watching animation films and kind of had an interest in the sort of overall animation. But it was only when I sort of saw this job at 7video and I looked into what 7video did at the time in animation where I was like, oh, that's really cool. So at the time I was like, right, I'm going to really try here to try and get this job as an apprentice animator. It was actually an apprentice content creator. But yeah, and then it all went from there. Sort of got the job and basically threw myself in the deep end and started creating projects pretty much instantly, which I was always very grateful for 7video for giving me that opportunity. Because I got hands-on with clients straight away, was able to create actual projects for people, and that was the best way for me to learn all the software and how to animate and everything, was just basically throwing myself in the deep end and doing it. So yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So over 5 years,
Mm-hmm.
what has changed about your role?
So initially it was, obviously the first year was apprentice, so it was along with doing client work, it was also doing my apprenticeship. Obviously after the year had finished, it was then being taken on full time. And in terms of the responsibilities, not much changed. I was already doing all of the main things you would do, from leading a project to taking it all the way to the end point. But as a sort of whole, my job has changed mainly due to now I'm way more involved in the whole process. So taking the project from a kick-off meeting all the way through to the end, to the final draft and showing the client everything. There was a stage where it was sort of, I just do the animation stage, but it is quite nice now to be able to take the project from start to finish, from my vision and the clients to the end goal. So yeah.
Quite nice to be able to see that project.
Yeah, it really is, because it's like, I think when you're creative as well, it's great to be able to see the work you've done come to life, especially from the initial just talk to then seeing a finished piece. It's very good. So, yeah.
Yeah. So, obviously you're an animator.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know very much about it. And it's very arty. It's very creative.
Yeah.
And the stuff that you put together does make me think, wow, I do not have a clue how that works.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. I guess, could you break it down? I don't know if it happens in steps, however you think. How do you explain what you do to people outside of work?
Yeah, so that's obviously one of the main stages we do at the start of every project, is telling a client the stages we go through to get them from the start to the finish point of an animation or a project. We start normally obviously with a kick-off meeting, which is where we get all the brief and information. Then we move on to making sure the script's right, so making sure that the actual content that's going to be spoken by a voiceover is correct and not too long, not too short. It's that kind of middle ground that's perfect. Then it's on to style frames, so making sure that the animation has a sort of overall look and feel, which we sort of liaise with the client to make sure they're happy with and we're happy with. Then it's a storyboard stage, so there's a lot of stages, which is kind of a sketched idea of how each scene will look. For the client, it's very vague, it's very brief, but it's just to give them a visual idea.
I've seen a few of the storyboard breakdowns actually, and I love looking through them.
Yeah.
I've even come across some videos previously made before my time where it's, you know, the idea and then what came of it underneath.
Yeah.
And I just love to be able to see that process.
That it's very cool, and it's I always think it's very cool to see how a basic drawing can go from black and white pencil to an actual coloured sort of graphic. So once the storyboard's done, we then move forward into design stage, which is where we basically make every scene as a still image, how it will look with the style that we've created. And then from there, we bring it all to life. So it's the final stage, which is probably my favourite stage always, being an animator. is actually making it all come to life, adding sound, adding music, adding everything you need to make the whole composition come together nicely. So yeah, that's pretty much animation in a nutshell from start to finish.
That was a very efficient breakdown.
Yes,
actually.
yeah, there's
I'll
a
give
lot
you
more.
that.
I mean, each stage can take, it kind of varies on client feedback and the detail of the project, but it normally we say is probably a 4 to 6 week process, depending on, again, the size of the project. If it's bigger, it'll take longer. We can do really short turnarounds too, so it's all very depending on that. So yeah.
So do you have a favourite stage or kind of a key project you've worked on? I know it's a bit different to the film, guys, so I'm kind of open-minded as to, I don't know, what part of what you do sticks out to you. Like, what do you look forward to?
I would say it's always been motion graphics has been my strong point. So I do character animation, but I definitely prefer doing the motion graphics, the shapes, the graphical sort of look and feel to a project. There's been projects in the past I've worked on. I remember doing a sort of, I don't know if you've seen the Apple Don't Blink animation, which is basically just text, really simple, but it's really impactful and it's just quick, short text on screen. But we did a similar project for Six Ticks, which was basically their sort of representation of that, a really short, quick-paced text animation that sort of showcased their, I think it was the Hello Halo platform, which was really cool. I remember really enjoying that project at the time. So, yeah.
Oh, I'll have to have a look at that one. I don't
It's
think that's
very
one
good.
that I've come across yet.
No, it is very good. I was one of those at the time. I was very proud of it. So, yeah, worth a look. I will send you it.
Please do.
Yeah,
So much content for me to catch up on.
yeah.
So outside of work, when you're not animating, what does your day look like? What do you do for fun?
What do? I don't know if many people are going to call it fun, but I do like running. Everyone will laugh at me because that's all I go on about. To be honest.
Just going to say, really? You hadn't
Yeah,
mentioned.
that's pretty much all. It's pretty much all I go on about. So basically, in April last year, I ran a marathon for the first time, and it completely changed my life. Like, I went from being happy in life to a kind of feeling, not with work, but in personal life, like I wanted to do something more, because I didn't want life to feel just repetitive and the same thing over and over. And that's where marathon running just changed my life, because I always struggled when I was growing up with, making sure that I was healthy and, I was a little bit big, chubby, I believe is the nice word to say, never healthy. And running gave me that kind of change in lifestyle. And then marathon running just completely, changed everything. It gave me a goal and made me so structured with my day-to-day training that just kept my mind so straight and on like a great, good projectile path kind of thing. So from there, I decided from there, I decided to basically start social media in my own sort of private time, which is where I kind of wanted to document marathon running and running as a sort of general concept to other people, and show my journey, because I've never been that athletic guy as a kid. I'd say I've got a very normal journey. A guy who was a bit chubby, didn't really have a clue what he's doing, who now enjoys running marathons, which is still kind of bonkers to say. So yeah, that's basically my main outlet, is that it's running, it's social media, it's documenting my journey. I've ran 2 marathons now. I did Manchester and then San Sebastian, and then this year I've done a very stupid challenge. I'm doing 3 in 5 weeks, so I'm doing Rome, Paris and London. And London's obviously the dream marathon that I think a lot of people want to do, especially in the UK. So yeah, that's this year's challenge. But yeah, it's just running. I can't put into words how much it changed my life, from everything from lifestyle to my overall happiness and where I want to be in the future. I think when you find that thing in life, whatever it is, it might not be running, it might be gaming or whatever it is, but it is so important to you, and I don't think I will ever regret the path I've gone down with that. So
Did you think when you started running that it would have the impact on you that it has?
Absolutely not. I remember at the time it was 5 years ago. No, it was maybe 6 years ago now. It was before I started here, and I was kind of unhappy and the way I looked and the way I was, and it just was something I started without realizing how much it would help. Where after a week I was like, okay, something's different here. This feels good. And it was that. Then it was just the consistency. keep going. You get in this habit of doing it. And I think when you get into healthy habits, it's such a positive thing. So yeah, it's done ridiculous amounts for me and my mental health. Like, I could never put into words that. So yeah, been a good journey.
Yeah. How much time do you think a week you spend training and running?
Well, at the moment, because I'm in like peak stages of the plan, I'm doing 70 kilometers a week, up to 75, which is, I think, about 6 hours of running a week. I think this year alone, I think we're in March, I've already ran like 700 kilometers or something. So it's a lot of time, but it doesn't feel like a lot of time, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
If I was sat there, I don't know, doing post-it notes or something for 7 hours.
That's very specific.
Yeah, I'd be miserable. But because it's doing something that makes me so happy, it just feels like it's just part of my routine now. You kind of get used to it. So.
Definitely more expensive hobbies to have than running.
Yeah.
And I know that it comes with its
That's what people
costs,
say. Yeah, they say running is cheap, and it can be, and it should be in its generic sense. But I mean, when you start getting these super shoes and clothes, and it really does add up. But yeah, you got to be smart with it. I think start running for the love of it, not for the fashion or anything else. That comes with it in time.
Yeah,
so.
no, it's not that budget friendly. You know, Rome's really expensive.
Yeah, Rome bankrupted me actually, and Paris and London. So yeah, it's definitely not the most financially fair.
But when it means that much to you and it has that big an impact,
that's it.
Yeah, we have like spoken about it in the office before, but I don't know, I don't think we never got into it that much. So it's actually really nice to hear.
It is. It's changed my life, and I think marathon running especially, you go from such lows in the training, especially this year. I mean, I've been running in pretty much 99% dark and rain, and it is hard. Like, there's no, I don't think you could ever prepare for that. But the contrast from that to then crossing the line and going through the whole journey of a race, it's just, it's unspeakable how much it's good, kind of thing. So,
yeah. So, are you always running, or is there much that you do when you're not running?
So other than running, again, that's pretty much all I do. But I play the piano. So that's something I've picked up, again, the past 5-6 years. I always loved the piano, and I kind of had that ability to hear a song, and I'm not like a wizard. I couldn't play it with two hands and play an amazing song, but if I heard a song, I could play it like the vague key on the piano.
Yeah, you could kind of figure it out.
I could hear it. So I was like, look, I've got that talent. I may as well give it a go. So yeah, I just now love piano. Again, it's one of those things I do that just switches me off from day-to-day life and just makes me focus on just enjoying playing the piano. So.
See, I'm a hobby holder. I do a little bit of everything, and you're making me kind of wish I was dedicating myself to something a bit more. No, I love the piano. Really wanted to play the piano. Yeah. I used to sit in Shrewsbury's Market Hall. We used to have, I think it was Revive that had a piano there. Yeah, and I used to work at a cafe in the Market Hall, and on my lunches I would go and sit and play that piano. And I could only play one thing. Yeah. It was just a tune that I liked from a show I liked when I was younger. Yeah. And it was just so peaceful, and I looked into do more on the piano, and I actually have the hands of a toddler. I can't reach.
You've got small hands, that's
reach.
tough. That's a lot of movement in the hands. So.
Yeah, but there are literally points where you've got to use like both fingers with one hand, and I can't reach. So I was like, all right, well, maybe I should go back to the ukulele. something a bit smaller.
It is one. There's something about it. I think I love the fact of a piano. You can play basically however heavy you play the keys, massively makes the song kind of emotional. I love that. So you play it really gently, and it feels like a really nice emotional piece, and then you start clanging it around, and it goes epic, and that's kind of why I love the piano.
I started with the keyboard at school, and then when I played that one in the Market Hall, I was like, whoa, like there's so much energy in this. Absolutely. Like you never want to use a digital keyboard again once you've actually played on a piano.
Exactly, and my mum's got a proper piano at home and at her house, and I always used to go there and just play it for like an hour. And then she got me like a mega keyboard that was like weighted keys too, because that's always, I don't like just the keys where you press it makes the same tune, but when you get a weighted keyboard, it's brilliant.
I bet she's just glad you're not playing the violin.
I couldn't play the violin. Imagine me on a violin, that wouldn't be a good sight. So
certainly wouldn't be practicing in the office. I mean, this podcast room is quite well kitted out, but it is not violin proof.
That's it. I couldn't play the violin. I think you've got to be quite very talented to play a violin. I'm not that talented.
Me neither. No. From my beliefs, you don't have a piano account, but you do have your Instagram for your running. Are you what platforms are you on, and how do people find you?
So my username on everything is Cal White Runs. It's just my name as well, which is obviously Callum White. So I'm on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. Instagram and TikTok are my main two I'm sort of going with. And I'm also, a Joma ambassador, which is still kind of cool to say. So that all came from me just wearing Joma kit all the time, and then I messaged them and they came back to me, and now I'm an ambassador for them, which is really cool. So
do you have a discount code you want
I
to
do
throw
have
into
a
the
discount
podcast?
code. Yeah, so if you go on the Joma website and use code CalWhite20, you'll get 20% off, which is bonkers.
I was going to say, that's a good discount.
Yeah,
I was
don't mind
expecting like a 5% discount.
20% off. So again, when I say that, I'm quite humble in the sense of like, I don't really know how I got there, but I think when you sort of appreciate a brand and wear it all the time for the loyalty, I think they appreciate that too, which I think is where they kind of like me. So yeah, that's true.
So if you want to catch up with Callum and his running, you know where to find him. And if you want to catch up with Team 7video, you can find us at 7video or at 7video Ltd. I'm sure Tom will put it on the screen for you. But yeah, thank you for joining us, and we'll see you in 2 weeks to introduce another colleague.